Today we're going to assess and we're going to rate your handstand. Now, why do we want to do this? This is going to help us to program, it's going to help us find gaps or missing parts of your practice. There could be the difference between unlocking the skill that you're working towards, or it's just going to make sure that we're working the correct progressions for your level. Number one, let's look at the handstand kick up. So we want to be able to kick up consistently at the level that you are. So number one level, or the first level, is going to be touching the wall very lightly with our heel. So I'm going to place my hands on the floor, I'm going to pick the focal point, I'm going to lock that base into position. Then my goal is just to get this first leg to touch the wall, come back down again. I want to be able to do this consistently with a very light touch on the wall 5 times in a row. Now if I can do that, I want to step up to the next level. Now the next level is going to be 1, 2. Come back down, make sure everything is the same, go again. Again, we're aiming for 5 repetitions at that level to check that you can do it. Even if you think this is easy, I would try these ones first just to make sure there's no gaps. So 5 repetitions there. Now the next one is exactly the same, but I'm going to kiss the wall with both heels at the same time. Come back down, make sure that setup is the same, go again. And remember, we're looking for 5 repetitions that look identical. Next is exactly the same, but I'm going to catch just before the wall. So shoulders on top of hands, pick that focal point, kick, catch before the wall, show control, come back down, exactly the same setup, go again. Exactly the same, go again. Remember, we're going for 5 in a row. 4 and 5. We can do exactly the same for our jumps. Now with the jump, the easiest progression is obviously using the wall. So same focal point and then jumping to handstand to the wall and coming back down again. We can then go lighter, heels just kissing the wall very, very light. Then going to jumping, catching before the wall, showing control, coming back down again. And then eventually away from the wall, same thing. But we're looking for repetitions of that. So checking that you can do 3 to 5 repetitions in a row that look identical. Now consistency of catch is the main one there. We could go through tuck, straddle, pike, or more of a frog position like I was just doing. Then we can look at our handstand balance. Now in terms of handstand balance, we want to have control with the overbalance and the underbalance. So both sides of the 2-arm handstand. So first of all, let's look at the heel pull. So practice that kick up again, go to the wall, both heels touch in, squeeze, make the body one piece. And we just want to see whether we can pull away from the wall as one segment. And then I can choose to go back again. Now I could do that for repetitions in a row. So 3, 4, 5, or I could do that for a hold. So I pull away, hold for a few seconds, and then I choose to go back to the wall. So I'm in control of that overbalance position. Then we can do the same with the underbalance. So I'm going to go up and do a toe pull drill. So in that position, make the body one segment, pull away from the wall using the shoulders, go to handstand and go back again. I can do that for repetitions. So 2, 3, 4 and 5, or I could do that for hold time. So pull off, show control, and then choose to go back again. So now I'm controlling the underbalance of the handstand. And then we can come completely away from the wall and test our catch for set durations of time. So first of all, I'm going to see whether I can catch twice in a row for 5 seconds. So in the middle of the room, I kick, show control, catch, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come back down, and then I go again, see if I can catch again straight after for another 5 seconds. And obviously I could do multiples of 5 seconds, I could do 10 seconds, or I could just go for a duration hold and go for 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 90 seconds or work all the way up to 2 minutes. But it is really good to know that you can consistently kick up to shorter holds, but you can also kick up and do a long hold. Sometimes you'll see people that will get every 10 attempts, they'll get 1 long hold, which is great, but we also need that kick up to a consistent hold. Now we can do exactly the same drill, so both the overbalance, the underbalance, the freestanding with exactly the same sets and repetitions, but instead of being in a straight body, we can be in the tuck and we can be in the straddle. So can I do a heel pull when my body is in a tuck handstand? So I pull away from the wall using the fingertips, so I'm controlling the overbalance in that tuck, on and off. Can I do the same in a straddle handstand? Can I pull on and off there, or can I choose to pull away and hold for time? Now, I wouldn't normally do chest to wall pulls in a straddle or in a tuck, but I proved that we have control both in the overbalance and underbalance in those positions by doing longer holds, plus doing some movement when we're there. So if I go into my straddle position, I should be able to control the handstand if I fall back towards underbalance. I should be able to control the handstand if I go over towards overbalance. And the same if I'm in a tuck, I should be able to control the balance if I go to underbalance. And if I go to overbalance, exactly the same thing. So weight's going in my fingers and I can pull back again. So then we have consistency of catch, entering the straddle handstand, entering the tuck handstand, whether that's against the wall, whether that's freestanding. We have the ability to rebalance the straddle and the tuck. So I could do duration holds in the tuck, going for the 10, 15, 20, 30, 60 seconds in this position. I could do the same in straddle. So then we have the three main positions. We have the straight. Can we consistently get that position? Can we hold there for time? Can we rebalance it? Exactly the same for tuck, and then exactly the same for straddle. And then we can test our transitions. So our transitions should be going from our main home positions. So our straight, our tuck, back to our straight, 4 reps. Now this could be done freestanding, or the regression would be exactly the same against the wall, heels touching, butt touching, heels touching, butt touching, heels touching, butt touching. Same in straddle, home position straight, open to our home position straddle, return back to that home position straight, back to straddle, back to home. Again, we could move against the wall, so heels touching in the straight position, butt touching in the straddle, back to heels touching in the straight, back to butt touching in the straddle for repetitions. Then we get more to the intermediate to advanced section. And this is where we can start to look at more advanced drills like head position changes and one arm handstand progressions. So progressions for the head position change. So we go into our standard handstand looking down towards the floor. Now I'm going to purposely move my focal point and look away. So now I'm looking towards the back wall, and then I'm going to return back to my standard position. Next progression from there would be to continue looking past the wall and see if I can go all the way through. Now I'm looking at my toes, and then I'm going to come back down and look back to my standard position between my hands. Now you can start to work repetitions of those, or you could just do holds in the positions. Now if you're going to do holds in the positions, make sure you return back to that standard looking position, so looking back down towards the floor, because that's actually the hardest bit. Once you're in the position, you find your balance, that's okay, but the return back down again is really hard. You can see that I had to do some rebalances on that demonstration. And now let's look at the one arm handstand progression. So I'm going to kick or jump to handstand. I'm going to start in a straight position. I'm going to open to straddle. My straddle needs to be acting like one segment. So if I take the right foot down, the left foot changes as well, and they work together as one. I don't want this to happen or this to happen. I want to have this connection between each side. I'm then going to shift over to one side. I'm going to look at the hand, hold. I'm going to go over to the other side, shift over, hold, and then return back again. So just some easy flag-like movements. I'm not going to go to extremes. I'm just going to practice going side to side and changing my focal point from looking in the center to looking more over towards the working arm. Now we'll go to the next progressions, which is just shifting more weight over. So this opposite hand is going to get lighter. I'm not going up onto fingertips. I'm just trying to shift over and make the opposite hand nice and light. So I go back to my straddle handstand. I look at one hand, shift weight, flag. My right hand becomes light. Go over to the other side, exactly the same thing. Shift more weight. That left hand is starting to get light. Return back to center, come back to straight, and then come back down. Exactly the same. Now going up onto fingertips. So open to straddle, over to one side, shift the way out, up onto 5 fingers, come back down, over to the other side, same thing, weight out of that left hand, up onto fingertips, come back down. Now I could do hold time there, I could do repetitions. Obviously the more repetitions you do, the longer the hold times, the more advanced the progressions are. And then we just keep that going. So now instead of going to 5 fingers, so we come across, go to 5, we might go up to 2 fingers or 1 finger. Obviously making sure you can do that on both sides. You will have a stronger side and a weaker side. You can see I was working on my left, where the right side is way more comfortable for me. And then eventually we can get to the point where we can go from fingertips to one finger, to lifting the hand up, coming back down. We could then go for repetitions of that, so I could lift up, come back down, or I could go for hold times there. So exactly the same as we're doing with the 2-arm handstand. You could go for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20, 30-second holds, or repetitions of coming up and down. So have a go at each of those progressions, see how far you can get along the progression line. Now it's not going to be linear for everyone, so it's not going to be starting with that very first exercise I went through, going all the way through to the 1-arm handstand. Some people will find certain exercises easier than others, even if they're not technically a progression or a harder level. So it will be a bit jaggedy in terms of your progression line, but this will definitely help to understand where your gaps are in terms of your hand balancing. We could do the same thing for our strength skills, for our planches, our handstand push-ups, our presses. If you're interested in programming or coaching, check out my website, www.paultwyman.com.au, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Thanks, guys.